Okay, so we're going to talk about how to memorize our lines today. Memorization is often a difficult task for most people, so we're going to go through some tips and some tricks on memorizing your lines. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go onto YouTube and look for Jim Parsons on memorizing his lines, and then watch that video and go ahead and pause this video to do so. This video is going to be Jim Parsons from the popular show Big Bang Theory on how he actually memorizes his lines. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some memorization techniques. So we're going to get into 4 groups: a green, a blue, a purple, and a red group. Green group is going to find forms of technology that can help you memorize your lines, and then you're going to list them and include how they could help. The blue group is going to find videos about memorizing lines, copy and paste the links onto this Google Doc. This Google Doc is on Canvas as well. The purple group is going to read this article from the Chicago Tribune and summarize the techniques. And then the red group is going to read the 2 articles from WikiHow from Backstage and summarize the techniques on this doc. Then we're going to separate into other groups, and we're going to divide each group will have someone from each group. So each group will have a green, a blue, a purple, and a red group member, so they can talk about what they found on memorizing lines. So go ahead and pause the video and do that depending on what group you are in. Okay, now that you've completed the group activity, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to watch another video. So you're going to watch Jim Parsons and Mayim Bialik. They're going to interview each other about different things, what it's like to work on a show, and one of the things they're going to talk about is memorizing their lines. So go ahead and find that video on YouTube and pause it here. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this article about learning to memorize. So it says there are many ways to memorize. Many people have every song on their favorite radio station memorized. One reason is that songs are often rhythmic and they often rhyme. These are 2 factors that make memorization easier. Have you ever had difficulty memorizing a series of items, but when the teacher put it to music, suddenly you were successful? Rhythm and rhyme are not normally a part of scene work. However, and even if they were, most teachers and directors instruct actors not to accent them. Another reason why we memorize songs with little effort is that we hear them repeatedly. Repetition is often used in schools to assist students in memorizing difficult series or long bits of information. Some actors can read a script a few times and have all their lines memorized, even long monologues. This is the exception and not the rule. Many songs are stories set to music. Knowing the events of the story is a third reason why songs are often easy to memorize. In acting and scene work, most experts will agree that knowing and understanding the events in a play is the best way to memorize it. This is called whole part memorization, which we will be doing an activity on in just a little bit. An actor using this process will need to know the entire plot and become especially familiar with what happens in the play just before and immediately after the scene to be memorized. He will also learn all he can about the characters involved. Often a character will have a hidden agenda in each scene, and the actor is not aware of this. The scene will make little sense. It is extremely difficult to memorize a scene that one does not even understand. After the actor has completed his research, he may then need to read it repeatedly until it is memorized. This requires a great deal of time, even though much of the repetition is achieved in early rehearsals. If repetition fails to work, or if the actor cannot commit to the time-consuming process, he or she may wish to try a form of memorization less popular with professionals, but often well practiced by students, part whole memorization, which you will have an activity over that as well. In part whole memorization, the actor breaks the scene into smaller, more manageable chunks. These are memorized individually and then pieced together bit by bit. While this is generally quick, it is often used to expense of fully comprehending the scene and its context within the play. As a result, performances may lack depth and characters may be shallow and lifeless. Discover which method or combination of methods work best for you. And then they also offer some other suggestions on if it's not working. What I would suggest for memorizing is to kind of do a combination of whole part and part whole memorization. First, memorize what events do things happen in. So what happens at the beginning of the story, then what happens, and walk through scene by scene what happens in each section. Then start memorizing your lines within context of that section. So that way, even if you don't remember exactly what your line is, you'll still know how the scene goes. So start with the whole story. What happens in this scene? What happens in this scene? Then break each scene down. Okay, the scenes that I'm in, this is what happens next, then this is what happens next. And that should help you memorize your lines a little bit better. And even if you don't memorize your lines then 100%, then at least knowing what's supposed to happen in that scene will help guide your lines a little bit better. So good luck memorizing, and don't forget to check Canvas, go through the assignments, and do both the part whole and the whole part memorization.